Exactly. So you're not going to be able to do as many flashy things as you were able to do on Reinhardt, but you got to be the stable Orisa on the field. That horse needs to stick on the ground, super glue those feet down, get that shield down.
Yep, and the biggest trump card Triumph has, though, is the fact that Icy's Hog is amazing. And a single hook can turn the tides. Gig really has to watch out here. He's an aggressive main tank player, but if he gets hooked, that's going to be all it. That's going to be the end of things for XL2.
You're seeing it right here, right now. Link's taking out KST. This is going to be a duel throughout Sanctuary at least. Both of these players showing up on Widow. I would say upper echelon of the Widows that we've seen in North American Contenders. And now that they get to meet each other once more in the semifinals, look at them. They're already evened out in terms of ultimate percentage. Icy will find the first pick on his feet, but KST is going to return one onto Link. So this is still a 5v5. No one has taken over the point just yet.
Oh, but with that beautiful hook from Icy, it's going to be Triumph point. XL2, they tried to play at range, play that poke game, look for picks, but with both Decod and Icy, as well as Semitos May already on the point, staking out their claim and laning and blocking all of those good lines of sight while simultaneously threatening their own CC, XL2 Academy just couldn't really compete.
Triumph and XL2 Academy are going to have to meet each other again once XL2 tries to get onto the objective, which is going to be even harder to do now that Triumph have taken up shop. And let's look at those main tanks real quick. We've got Decod already at Supercharger. Gig still about 30% away from Supercharger. When one team has it and the other doesn't, that's a huge advantage for a team like Triumph. You're just going to do more damage than XL2, and Haku already gets picked off. So they're going to have to reset once more. They're going to have to wait for that Zenyatta to come back before they can try to approach once more.
And this big porcine pugilist, so threatening. XL2 Academy have to watch their initial positioning so carefully because there are a ton of threats that could one-shot a member of XL2 on the side of Triumph, and they have the defensive positioning. OG from XL2 has swapped to the Baptiste, so that's going to give them a little bit more face-tanking value, plop down that immortality field, and you can take up space on the objective without fear of death. But the problem for XL2 so far has just been getting there.
Are they going to be able to touch the point this time around? They are able to make the release with all 6 members. That's not been the case before. Gig's going to throw down the Supercharger, but Chopped finding the first kill. OG could not save anyone with the immortality field, and Triumph will continue their dominance so far here on Sanctuary. And this is kind of what Sanctuary has become, especially if you have Widows on each side. There's not a lot happening on the actual objective as people waiting for the picks to come from their Widowmakers.
Very, very bunkery, and it's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of your DPS and on the shoulders of your Hog. You are the make it and break it for your team with a single mouse one click. You basically just cut XL2's chances of seeing the point.
That's it. XL2 will lose out Sanctuary. There's no way they come back from those picks that Link was able to provide for Triumph. Now, all of the ultimates will be used for Triumph as well. This was a very easy Sanctuary for them. XL2's got to be shaken in their boots because that was arguably a pretty poor, not arguably, was a poor performance coming in from them on just this one round. Yes, it's only one round. It's not a ton of game tape to look at, but Triumph came in. They look warm. They look warmed up, especially Link getting all those headshots.
Yeah, and the more worrying thing is not just the fact that XL2 lost that round, but they looked a little bit lost. Bud swapped onto the Roadhog in the very last second to try and see if he could find that same hook magic as Icy has, and I'm really curious what might have happened if XL2 Academy had just gone with those meta picks right off the bat, because they really were tying their own feet together, especially in terms of that approach. Because Divas, you have that Matrix, and it's bar none one of the best abilities in Overwatch, but it's so incredibly limited. What are you going to be eating up? Halts, hooks? You sacrifice your mech more times than not if you're not extremely careful with metering that ability.
Well, your body would eat the hook, right? Then you lose your mech, eat a bunch of ult charge. These demons have to be a lot more careful with the Roadhogs on the other side, but there are no Roadhogs right now as Triumph and XL2 Academy are going to meet each other on the objective proper. Link is going to be on the main this time around, speedily on the Juice, as he has been very streaky on this character. This season, it's been more on the high side than the low side, but so far, unable to really do anything with the Doomfist other than cause a little bit of disruption and make a little bit of space for XL2. Lynx is going to continue his hot hand on the main this time around. Nice biotic grenade, though, onto Triumph. Is going to take Samito out of here. 2 kills up for XL2. This is still anyone's game on the objective. As he's going to cancel the rocket punch, go ahead and get that uppercut onto Awkward and help XL2 Academy grab this first point.
I love this XL2 Academy taking, Monty's words to heart. You do you, man. We're not going to go for the bunker if that's not who we truly are. Gig on the Hammond here, but still on the Diva and Speedily with this Doomfist are all about this disruption. You saw Triumph, again, they go to the point, they pressure it, stake out their claim, but with all of this disruption, there's no way for that bunker to stay intact. A couple of beautiful high ground nades from Haku. That's it.
Icy, though, gets Speedily before the Meteor Strike could come through. He's going to have to wait a little while longer for that. Triumph have that 6v5, but they got to make it to the point as well. They're going to try to isolate some more members from XL2. Gig getting frozen is going to take him out, and Triumph should be able to attack this point here and take it. They got to get there, though. Coalesce was used by Awkward, too, in a fight that has already been won, but Speedily came right back, takes down Lynx. You got to get into the face of those snipers when they're there. So as of right now, XL2 Academy doing a very good job holding on to this point, getting some extra percentage. It's still not over for them. It's XL2 now coming up with those picks. Triumph did not take advantage, but 3-man advantage that they were able to get provided. XL2 come right back.
XL2 Academy, I love this, really coming alive in the second round of Busan, recognizing that win condition. If KSB had just jumped onto the objective, worried that Triumph were going to flip it, he would be dead, but instead, everybody from XL2 kind of realizing what their role is. It's totally fine, we can come in here, rely on our mechanical ability, and Triumph can't do anything except stand there like ducks, getting shot at range. There's no way for Triumph to really challenge out KSB, bar Lynx finding that headshot.
KSP this round doing a little bit better, a lot better actually than at Lynx so far, but XL2 Academy did use another member. The KSP gonna bring him right back. These Widow duels are all about finding that pick. There's not going to be a ton of interaction between everyone else until someone gets picked off, and it's usually the Widowmaker who does just that, as Triumph going to lose their original shield and get their Blizzard eaten as Buzz, who came in as a Sombra main, but now is going to be locked onto the Diva here in 2-2-2, is going to help XL2 Academy give it right back to Triumph, and another 100-0 this time, though, for XL2.
XL2, I love this, and Control is one of those map types where Bunker isn't quite as intuitive as some of the more linear maps. So XL2 is like, hey man, we have one of the original Doomfists on our roster, and we believe in him, because the thing with Doomfist is you must land those combos. If you land the combo, you're one-shotting fools left and right, but if you miss that initial ability, then you're simply a sitting duck in the middle of a team with a Roadhog and a Mei. So high risk, high reward, and it paid off for XL2 this time around. But on downtown, we have a lot of long sight lines. If you're away from your team, if you're not behind that shielding, you're not going to find a lot of cover. So XL2 are going to swap things up, Haku and OG on the Moira and Lucio, and with Gig back on the Orisa, they're probably going to go straight for that objective and see if they could just brawl it out in melee range.
You talked about those sight lines, the XL2 deciding to drop the Widowmaker, which is a big reason why they were able to win Mecha Base in favor of the Reaper. Reaper Mei has been so popular in 2v2 luck everywhere around the world, and we're seeing why as we speak. They have that self-sustain, they can help each other, and eventually get that right click in, you get some conquest in there, you're going to be feeling good. And like you said, the wall is so very important as well if you're playing that Mei. It changes the environment completely and can stop a rotation and isolate a member of the opposing team so very quickly as they going to take down the Widowmaker somehow. And XL2 Academy are so upset from that first round on Sanctuary. They have not lost a fight since then.
No, indeed, and Haku getting a Coalescence with the very first fight still feels good, even though that's kind of Moira's bread and butter. What a wall from Speedily. The hook comes in from Icy, ever accurate, but the wall stops that cold. And XL2, they managed to rally. Triumph now have to make a difficult engage. Lynx is going to be looking for the heads of that backline, but with all of that shielding and the wall as well, it's going to be easier said than done.
Amplification Matrix from Chop should help Triumph push in a little bit of extra damage, but XL2 seems to be safe. They're going to hunker down on the points. Samito now with the Blizzard over the top. Are they going to be able to spot this out? He's going to throw here any second, does not get eaten. Link starts things off with a pick as well, so this is a good fight for Triumph to try to take, and they're going to get some casualties themselves. However, XL2 defending brilliantly on the objective so far. They're going to come out on top. The flank from Samito was not enough, and XL2 continue their win streak.
XL2 Academy giving up space in lieu of those lives and able to maintain control at this point. Icy's still alive. XL2 don't want to extend too far away from the point. They know the hog is there. He has that whole hog, but right now the name of the game is just protect your territory. Speedily will have Blizzard, so important here. Awkward though is very close with the Transcendence, so Triumph are going to be looking to close that distance, pop that ultimate when Speed pops his, and try and sustain the long fight and find some picks.
We have seen Zenyatta's be a little trigger happy on that Transcendence because it's not as obvious of a use as it was before when it was just the Graviton third counter. The Self-Destruct is going to go through along with the Blizzard. It does take down Shot. The amplification was already put down, so that could still help try to overcome XL2 Academy, but that's not going to be the story that's going to be told today as XL2 come back from getting wiped on Sanctuary, then win every fight after and take Busan and move up 1-0 against Triumph. What a change of pace from that first round. And the reason why we keep bringing up Sanctuary is because Triumph destroyed XL2 on it. That was also a 100-0 against XL2, but then XL2 come right back 100-0, Triumph twice. And it didn't matter if KSP was on the Widow. He was on the Reaper occasionally, and the team comps seem to have warmed up a little bit for XL2 Academy, and they enter our second map with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, positioning and space is so incredibly important with these bunkers. You can see how easy it is for Triumph to defend this drum circle when they own it. XL2 Academy were able to take control of the point on downtown and just never gave it up. You're running Reaper, May, Moira, Lucio. Pretty mobile as far as the Risa comps go, and so much healing and self-sustain. Basically every single person has a way to keep themselves alive without stretching their healers. And Triumph, with Lynx still on the Widowmaker, unless he's hitting one-shot kills every single time, you're just not going to find as much value from that DPS pick. And on Hangar, man, XL2 Academy was like, we don't even really think about the point, man. The best defense is a good offense. It was all about disruption and killing, divide and conquer, really, with Gig kind of rolling around, being that kill confirmer. You need a couple more HP pumped into your enemies. Well, I'm your man.
Well, I also love the interaction between Wrecking Ball and Doomfist, especially after the pile drive. It's a really great way to set up that rocket punch, and if you want to go in with an uppercut as well, get in their faces, he's going to allow you to do just that. And it's just going to increase the amount of displacement that XL2 is going to be able to pull off on you. The Seismic Slam as well, coming in from Speedily, that's even more displacement on this team, and that's all you're going to need, just the Doomfist and the Wrecking Ball. I like the look. It works very well on this particular map because you're seeing the walls go up here. Doomfist can make this a little bit of a playground, and Speedily was able to do just that. But let's talk a little bit more about Triumph, because on the other side of the equation, you're seeing them struggle here. And Semifinals had what looked like a really good flank. He got the Blizzard down. He got some members of XL2 Academy frozen cold, but it wasn't quite enough. How did XL2 defend so well then?
That on downtown, when that Blizzard came out, immediately one of the members, I think it was OG, got frozen, but the rest of the team rushed in their body block for him. And yeah, I think they did take one loss, but everybody was so incredibly focused on capitalizing on that Blizzard, which didn't really end up catching anybody but one, that the rest of XL2 were able to use their mobility and just simply get out of the way of that AoE. And the way that XL2 uses their space and positioning is really particularly impressive here on Hangar, where you saw Haku staying safe also at range on the high ground. Triumph basically just had no way to catch them. There's no way to catch a single member of XL2 and burn them down. You go after the Honor, you're taking shots from the Widow, who's on the opposing high ground the entire time, right? You're trying to chase that Hammond, well, he's just going to roll right out. Doomfist in, punches your support, and then he's right out of that area of effect again. And this is the Blizzard that you were mentioning a little earlier. Also a great supercharger from Gig as well, helping everybody stay alive.
So we're going to travel to Mother Russia. Volskaya is going to be our next map, and this is going to be Assault for both of these teams. And Volskaya ended up yesterday consistently being very back and forth between a lot of these teams, with both teams finishing the map very frequently. And that's actually been the case throughout the season as well. And it's been all about what's been left in the time bank more so than if they're going to finish. If they finish with over 2 minutes, I think they get a very nice advantage going into the next round. Let's see, both of these teams might be able to put up a defense, though, and prevent their opponent from reaching the end of Volskaya. Let's go ahead and look at these team comps. Triumph going to be running double sniper on the offensive side. XL2 is going to have one of those snipers. The other one's going to be May.
and of Hog as well. This is a little bit out of XL2 Academy's usual wheelhouse. Big rotation here. No picks just yet, but KSP on the low ground right now, looking to see if he has an opportunity, but Buds is going to be the one that strikes first, and this is what's really dangerous. And I think it's not a bad idea at all to have Mercies when running Volskaya, because a single pick will turn the tides.
This might be the pick that turns the tide for Triumph, as the spawn for XL2 is so much further away than the one for Triumph, so they will have all 6 members much sooner, but not anymore, as Haku, along with the Widow, along with the Roadhog, gonna combine for the kill onto Lynx, but Decoy gonna bring things right back for Triumph, so this has still been back and forth. Again, the spawn a little bit better for Triumph, and they will have their members back a little bit sooner, and even more trades commence on the objective.
Very, very back and forth, but it will favor the offense here. Their spawns are much, much closer, but they might just lose their remaining members before that happens. Big now back on the Hammond. Not going to be doing much except rolling around. There is a very, very low Mercy. Only you can get her. No.
Man, Chopped has been low for the majority of this fight, but the Transcendence is going to keep her alive. It's also going to protect the res, so the Hog is going to be back. Feeling cold, ice cold, if I like to say so myself, as Icy also going to have that whole Hog, but not need it. And so, even though the snowball potential for these teams are going to be a little less on this patch, you're seeing everyone already respond for XL2 Academy. They will have 3 ultimates online going into the objective. This is one of the better snowball opportunities that we've seen so far since the patch has been included here in North American Contenders. Triumph, Whole Hog, Supercharger, along with Valkyrie, which is going to be really nice AoE healing to keep Triumph alive on the objective, because there's really not a ton going on the XL2 side after the Blizzard comes out. The Transcendence could get forced out in no time, but now that KSP gets the headshot and Icy going to fall as well, Chopped using the Valkyrie, those advantages slowly but surely retreating.
Yeah, really unfortunate. If it had just been the single kill, then the Valkyrie could have been the tempo ult that allows Triumph to continue to push into the objective, but 2 kills, too much to overcome, so that's 1 ultimate down the toilet. But Lynx is about to have his own Infrasight, Decod's going to have Supercharger as well. XL2 Academy so far not really showing a very proactive defense. They don't want to push forward too much. Gig has been really good at reacting to halts by fortifying, and if you do that as an Orisa, you kind of get launched into the air, but it's still a very risky thing. You only have that ability up every now and then.
Transcendence comes out for XL2 Academy in response to the Supercharger, and Triumph unable to push through enough damage to cause any casualties for XL2. They invested the res into Lynx to start things off, but again, all 6 members still not enough. The little advantage they had at the beginning of point B is all gone now, as XL2 able to pick them off one by one.
Smido is going to swap to the Mei. The Hanzo not really working out very well. XL2 Academy is very has a ton of self-sustain here. Probably not going to be shredding the shields as quickly as you would like with that Storm Bow, so why not go for the point-clearing Blizzard? It's now going to be a race between Smido and Speedily, but well, you need everybody alive in order to push.
Well, this is actually something that we saw, again, a little bit of yesterday, is Widowmakers just popping up on this high ground here and picking off people one by one. This transition from this choke onto the second choke right before they get to the point has been very hard for a lot of teams to break through, and they're going to have to do it slowly but surely. It's going to have to be that trench warfare that we see from Orisa's. Nice wall, though, is going to allow them to make a little bit of distance and keep KSP from donking their heads a little bit longer. They are going to be able to rotate across the point, but the infrared sight, though, is going to make Lynx available for them to see. He was by himself going on a flank. That's not where you want to get caught out. The Immortality Field from Chop is going to keep 4 members of Triumph alive, but not for long, as the Immortality Field is the one that falls. XL2 Academy still have all 6 members. Triumph still waiting for that Widowmaker to come back, and Triumph haven't been able to break through at all since capturing point A.
No, and another stagger onto Icy is going to hurt their time bank even more. This is exactly what we saw happen to Phase 2 against Skyfox. His attitude was doming pools from this very same spot, like you said, and Volskaya requires a 6-man push. Your spawns are so far away, it's almost impossible to keep that push going when you lose a member early. But the other difficult thing is this Orisa shield doesn't move with you. It's not like Reinhardt, so you have to dedicate that shield, plunk it down, and somehow obfuscate your movement so you can get to the point without losing a man.
Amplification Matrix is going to make quick work of this Mei wall. It doesn't have as much HP as it used to be from a couple patches ago, so you can shoot through it, get some more value out of the Amp Matrix. Transcendence, though, going to be a little too late to save the rest of his team, as Triumph will fall regardless of that ultimate. You already will go back to spawn. Icy will be the next one to go. XL2 Academy, cool, calm, and collected so far here on point B.
Yeah, this Widowmaker is really giving Triumph a hard time. Lynx has not had nearly the same hot hand ever since the first round of Busan. And I'm really curious if maybe at this point it's a good idea to swap. Yes, we actually do see Icy swap onto the Diva. If nothing else, get into the Widowmaker's face, keep her from free firing, basically. And anytime you're not blocking Widow's line of sight, you're just guessing that she's going to miss. And when you're up against a Widow like KSP, that's not a bet I take.
Yeah, KSP could have taken a nap up there, had a whole slumber party, if you will. He's so safe. No one was competing against him because Lynx wasn't hitting the shot. They're about even right now, but KSP has definitely been the more effective Widowmaker so far as the Blizzard comes through. Transcendence should help everyone within the Blizzard stay alive, along with a nice Arista shield from a Gig. Amplification Matrix is next up. Blizzard coming in from XL2 Academy. Triumph finally do find a pick, and that's going to be a 5v5, though, which is going to be much better for XL2. Supercharger is down. They're just going to go ahead and give a little bit of space. They're going to get walled off, though, by Italy. Two members of Triumph are going to be isolated. Amplification Matrix already down for XL2, but they're going to go ahead and push through the window and fight behind it, so they don't get any value, but it doesn't matter. XL2 Academy, this is the mechanics thing at this point. They're just playing better than Triumph.
Yep. Oh, and another close-range headshot for KSP. Triumph, they had all the same ultimates that XL2 did, but because they were the attackers, they had to make that first move, and things needed to go their way. Such a great wall from Speedo and a well-placed Blizzard, but Haku just happened to have that Transcendence, and with that ultimate down the tubes, Triumph were playing catch-up the entire time, and now they got to catch up to the point.
Are they going to even be able to touch? Yes, they will, but Gig going to find the Wrecking Ball in time to make this an obvious 6v5. XL2, though, getting some CC upon them. Bud's getting taken pretty low. Gig's going to have to use Supercharger just in case. Bud's, though, still not dead. Triumph needed to find that pick. They wanted an opportunity on this point. His self-destruct needs to be the biggest one he's ever seen in his life, and it's going to hit nothing instead. This is going to be all XL2 as Triumph are going to get held on B without capturing a tick after capturing point A pretty easily. XL2 Academy using this team comp way cleaner than even some of the teams that we saw yesterday, and that's shown by how much nothing was happening, right? Yeah. It's, with Ghosts, we got a lot of Reinhardt, bashing each other. The Briggs got in your fight. The phase here with the snipers, it's all about those angles and so much more emphasis on individual positioning.
I'm really glad you brought up the angles, Boop, because Triumph won point 8 so quickly off the back of those Widow flanks. And Lynx, you could see, he's trying to set up that same kind of situation on point B, but it's so much further. There's so much dangerous territory you have to traverse first that it ended up just being a losing cause, because XL2 Academy, they got Buds, they got KSP, they're not just going to be sitting back there. And while it seemed like maybe not a ton of action was happening, they're always going to be very wary of their flanks. And Triumph just throwing so many resources behind that single tactic that they just burned their entire time bank away. And it wasn't necessarily that Lynx somehow just lost all of his aim. He was just never in position to make the same thing happen. And that's kudos to the great XL2 Academy defense.
And that's something that's so great to say, as Contenders over the last 2 seasons has struggled with consistent defense, but XL2 Academy showing that they've got that in the bag. Triumph need to get the full hold in order to win this map, keep them from getting a tick on point B to draw it. And just so everyone is aware, it is first to 3, so a draw is just going to be a mulligan between these two teams, and Triumph is all okay with that. But they want to try to win this with a fuller hold. Will they be able to pull it off? XL2 Academy coming out with 2 snipers this time around, too.
XL2 with 2 snipers. Triumph with the same, and 2 Roadhogs as well. So again, it's all about these early picks, about this early positioning. KSP could easily launch himself into that window, but the risk of getting hooked or headshot is so great. They're going to play a little bit more patiently, because it's all about those single shots. Just like that.
1 shot, 1 kill. She says it herself. The res comes through. That's going to mean that for the next 25 seconds, all casualties for Triumph will be permanent, but they're going to get a couple in response. XL2 Academy will not have a res for themselves, so that's going to be a successful defense for Triumph.
Triumph now just trying to make sure that no funny shenanigans happen, because in the age of that individual mechanical skill, you can also see individual players turn things around in the blink of an eye. Link's getting pressured right now by Haku, who's like, please just kill me, I need to get back to my team.
Was not very accurate trying to take down Lynx. Not as accurate as his buddy KSP on XL2 Academy side. KSP is a phenomenal Widowmaker. We knew that coming in, and we were so excited to see him go up against Lynx. And Lynx, let me tell you, is also a very good Widowmaker. Remember on Havana, he got 5 kills out of spawn one time. The XL2 Academy showing that right now, KSP winning the Widow duel. As I say that, though, the caster curse becomes real. The hook comes through, and Triumph continuing on with their defense. You're seeing XL2 Academy struggle just a little bit with the same thing Triumph struggled in point B, taking any kind of space with snipers on the other side.
Yeah, it is very difficult. You got to get a couple of kills, take that space. Although XL2 Academy kind of did a great thing earlier. They split their snipers and their tank ground troops to kind of try and rotate around and pincer Triumph in the middle of the point, flush the Mercy from her cover in the Mega Room to give KSP a free shot.
Nice headshot from Samito, makes this a 6v5. KSP is going to have to try to bring this back somehow. The res was already used for XL2 to bring that Hanzo right back. Giga's on the ground. Oh, beautiful headshot from Lynx now. It seems like the tide might be turning a little bit with these Widowmakers as Lynx gets the confidence back by getting a couple picks.
Dragons now is going to separate half the team and allow for Speedily to pick up Chalk. Lynx goes down to this high ground, proving very deadly to the Triumph defense.
This is most likely point A for XL2 Academy. Triumph has taken too much damage, too many casualties, and KSP will put an exclamation point on it with that headshot onto Samito. Though Triumph were able to take a good amount of time off the clock. Remember, you do not get as much time as you used to after capturing point A on Assault. So XL2 Academy also not with the same kind of snowball potential that Triumph had on their first approach. They didn't do anything with it. As you see, they were able to get a tick. But XL2 Academy, you have a Transcendence. It's a really great way to get his team escorted onto the objective. We saw how hard it was for them to even come close to the first choke on Volskaya.
Especially since XL2 have decided to invest in the brawling DPS heroes KSP on Reaper and Speedily picking up the Mei. This is going to be all about in-your-face fighting, and Lynx gets a look at those heroes. He's going to swap to his own Mei. I would say very good idea. And XL2 Academy, they have been executing mechanically so well. It's just about that positioning. Once KSP was on the high ground, it was all over for Triumph. So XL2 Academy simply have to usher their DPS safely into position and allow them to work their magic.
They've made it to the objective. Now they're all deciding how they want to approach it. They're going to say go. Transcendence is going to be their supercharger as well. The shield placement is going to be enough to keep that bongo making that music. 2 picks already for XL2 Academy. Surgical precision coming in from XL2. A lot of the times you'll see just rush into it, right? That's not what we saw from XL2 Academy this time around. They were patient, cool, calm, and collected again for XL2 Academy as they will take this first tick. XL2 Academy, after they do finish off everyone remaining from Triumph, XL2 go up 2-0 against Triumph. I think some people expected this to be a little bit closer, and after Sanctuary, your Triumph fans must have felt really good, but since then, it's been a whole lot of nothing for Triumph and crew.
Very much one-sided to the way of XL2 Academy, and I really like this current roster, their play style, melding the old with the new. They got that new main tank this season and that new Speedily Doomfist tech, and in the past we knew XL2 as a very patient team that bordering on passivity, but now they're patient when they need to be. It's okay. We took a couple of losses, but that's just because we weren't in position. Once we get there, I believe that our DPS are going to be able to execute. Play it patient. Don't do it. No crazy shenanigans. Calm, cool, collected.
Yep.
Keep it simple.
I think this is XL2 is representing what I think Montreal wanted to do yesterday. They were unable to accomplish. And so now that we're seeing XL2 play a little bit more of a passive game, we've seen a lot of up-tempo play, right? Think about Skyfox's phase 2 from yesterday. That was a ton of energy, a lot of pressing W. This time around, though, with KSP controlling literally the map, the Widowmaker, just by being on the field, affects everyone else's play styles. And you add to the fact that KSP also hitting the shots means that every fight is going to turn into a 6v5 or 6v4 in no time. You need your own Widowmaker to even up those numbers. And so far, Lynx has done it occasionally, but not consistently enough. So XL2 do enter halftime up 2-0 against Triumph Gaming. Will Triumph be able to win 3 in a row? We'll find out after the break.